All right, let's have the Spencer Rattler conversation. Dean and I talked about Rattler a little more, or a little bit the other day. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more right now in a kind of compact way, a compact video that talks about this Georgia defense and Spencer Rattler. Is he ready for this challenge? Is Rattler going to live up to the hype against this Georgia defense? Is he good enough to help South Carolina beat Georgia? The short answer for me is no. But let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about what Rattler is good at. And can he put up points against this Georgia defense? He's never played a defense like Georgia before. I'll start with that. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here talking about Georgia's defense and what they need to do to stop Spencer Rattler. More so, what does Spencer Rattler need to do to score on Georgia's defense? If you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you're checking out DAWGSTRUCTION, our insider book on the 2021 National Championship season. Link for that is down below. Make sure you're on the site dogpost.com. Rattler. I have got Rattler's numbers for 2020, 2021, and 2 games in 2022 so far pulled up. Partially because I kept saying, hey, I don't even need to look at Rattler's numbers or anything to explain to you that he's never faced a defense like Georgia's, but I want to emphasize that by looking at his numbers. In 2020, let's forget his overall stats, but his best game, was against Oklahoma State's defense. What's so special about that? Because I don't count Missouri State, whatever. His best game against a good team who doesn't have a great defense, not even close to what Georgia's was 300 yards for 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Phenomenal game. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 300 yards. Phenomenal. His other game where he threw 4 touchdowns, he threw 3 picks in a loss to Kansas State. So this is a guy, he's had offensive talent around him at Oklahoma, but he didn't put up gaudy stats the way those 3 quarterbacks before him at Oklahoma did. And he was supposedly the best prospect out of all of them coming out of high school, right? Maybe Kyler was a little bit better of a prospect, but Baker wasn't a huge prospect. Jalen Hurts was certainly not as big of a prospect as Spencer Rattler was. And he did way less with what he had than what those guys did. And he ended up in 2020, after mediocre play, his best game was against Western Carolina. The rest of them were pretty mid, and then he loses his job to Caleb Williams, who's just better than him at Texas. The point of that part of the conversation is he has never played a defense as good as Georgia's, and he's never really played exceptionally. Why should anyone expect for him to just pop off against Georgia's defense? Georgia's defense let up 3 points in the first 2 games. One against Oregon, who's got some guys on offense, including Bo Nix. I know that there's probably most of the people watching this are Bo Nix haters, and I don't think Bo Nix is very good, but he is athletic enough and dynamic enough to help you score. They didn't score any touchdowns against Georgia. Shutout against Samford, yeah, whatever, it was Samford, but they had a shutout. Only allowed 3 first downs, only allowed 109 total yards. Spencer Rattler. So let's look at this version of Spencer Rattler on South Carolina. Game 1 against Georgia State, a game that they struggled in. All right, they ended up winning by 21 points, but he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns. 1 for 2. On 62% completion. Against Arkansas, 376 yards. Yes, impressive. Only 1 touchdown compared to. So right now he's 2 for 3. His touchdown interception ratio. Georgia will pick the ball off, man. If you throw an errant pass, those secondary guys are very fast. Christopher Smith, Malachi Starks, Keely Ringo, Kamari Lassiter, those guys will snack the ball. 61.5% completion percentage against Arkansas. So, he played against his first SEC opponent, Arkansas. Guess what, guys? Arkansas is not Georgia. Arkansas, I think, is actually a pretty good team, and I think they're one of the better teams in the SEC. And they have a solid defense, but they don't have Georgia's defense. They don't have dudes like Nolan Smith. Smile Mondon is fast, athletic, physical, and that guy in particular, Michael Williams, who has the only sack for Georgia this season, those guys are going to be chasing after Spencer Rattler. Now, the good thing about it, Spencer Rattler does have a talented arm, and he is mobile, But it feels like those two things get overrated a little bit, and the potential has always been there for Spencer Rattler, and it's still there, but he hasn't done it yet. And I don't have anything against Spencer Rattler. I don't hate the kid. There's nothing wrong with Spencer Rattler, in my opinion. And he is a Division I quarterback, certainly is. And he is an SEC quarterback, but I don't think he's got the juice to help lead the Cox over the Dogs. I don't think he's got enough. I think Georgia's defense is going to swallow him up. I don't even think South Carolina scores a touchdown. That's in my final feelings. That's on the site, DAWGSTRUCTION. If you want to read Matt, Dean, and I's final feelings, they're usually entertaining, in my opinion. Make sure you're going to dogpost.com. Make sure you're checking out all of our socials at DawgPost. We'll see you there.